Hey everyone, this video is a quick overview of how to complete the character exploration activity. So the goal here is to explore some different character to idea relationships throughout the story. So the first thing I want you to do is to think about any big ideas that are present in this story. Obviously, this idea of love of family is in the story. Think of some of the other big ideas that you're seeing. And again, big ideas and motifs are what we use to come up with theme statements. I'm not asking you for that. I'm just asking you for the ideas that we see present in the story. Also, what driving forces exist in the story? So, for instance, desire to improve social status definitely exists in the story. Think about what other driving forces you see in Romeo and Juliet. From there, you're going to move to step 2, where you match some of the big ideas that you found to specific characters. And you're going to choose a verb and big idea to represent each character in the chart below. Use the verb list to help you, but you don't have to just stick with these verbs. So, for instance, a character, Romeo, verb, depressed by, and then being rejected by a girl he likes. So it should read like a sentence. Romeo is depressed by being rejected by a girl he likes. Samson and Gregory, remember these are the servants, the Capulet servants we meet at the beginning of Act 1, Scene 1. What is a big idea that's tied with them? Benvolio, what's an idea that we can tie to him, and what's a verb that can tie that idea to Benvolio? So let's do an example one together. So I know there's that example up there, but for example, Lady Capulet, when her husband goes to get his sword to start to partake in this big fight that's broken out in the streets of Verona, she yells at him and doesn't want him to go fight. So we can say Lady Capulet is frustrated by her husband's desire to continue the feud. So again, think of the big ideas, what motivates these characters, what drives them, what experience they're having in the story thus far. All right, step 3. Here's where you're actually going to choose a specific character to focus on. Maybe you have a favorite character, and you want to think of the type of relationship that character has to the big idea that you talked about in the space above. So if I said Benvolio was the character I wanted to focus on, what I'm looking to do in step 3 is I want to come up with a conclusion about Benvolio. So here are the directions. It says, based on the character to idea relationship you identified in the chart, what conclusion can you draw about the character you chose? This should be a new idea based on what you've read and what you know already to be true. Be sure to come up with an idea that is not directly stated in the text. So here's where you're looking to make a claim about this character. It could be about, again, what motivates them, what drives them. It could also be just a connection you make with this character and possibly another character or an idea found in the text. So I'm going to do an example, and I'm going to choose a character that hopefully you didn't have your heart set on. Let's talk about Samson. So he's the really crude Capulet servant who is saying all these awful things and talking about what he's going to do to all the Montague servants. And again, he's pretty vulgar and crude. Now, I might draw the conclusion that Samson behaves in this way because he feels powerless in society. So he feels like he has more power when he participates in these fights, despite the fact that he really doesn't have any power. So instead of just, going about his day-to-day life, it gives him this sense of power by starting this fight with the Montague servants. So even though he's not in one of these families, he has no reason to be a part of this feud in the first place. He involves himself maybe for that reason. So that's what I could put here in step 3 when I'm drawing my conclusion. All right, and then the last step you have here is step 4, which is where you're going to explain and prove the relationships using textual evidence. So on the left side, you're going to list some character traits. So it says in the boxes below, answer the questions regarding your character's wants, behavior, and reputation. And then in the box to the right, here's where you're going to provide evidence to support your character's wants, behavior, and reputation. So here it says wants, in the space below, explain what this character most wants or desires. You're going to list that here and then provide evidence. Then you're going to decide on a behavior or attitude your character has. So it says in the space below, explain how this character behaves. What is his or her attitude in Act 1? And then what's their reputation? In the space below, explain how other characters view this character. What is the character's social status? So on and so forth. If you don't know for sure what their reputation is, you can draw a conclusion about that. So if you haven't seen other people's reaction to this character and you don't know what their reputation is, try to think about what their reputation might be and then provide evidence as to why you thought that. These can be direct quotes here, but they don't have to. You can just list specific events. All right, I hope this helps. If you have any questions, please reach out to your teacher. Thanks.